So I was probably 17 or 18 and I remember eating McDonald's for breakfast, lunch and dinner because some dumbass fitness influencer told me it's just all about calories in and calories out. I carried on this diet of eating fast food for about 2 or 3 years. I was now fat, slow, had a ton of brain fog, shitty grades, unmotivated and lost. I recall that nearly all my teachers telling me that I'm careless, my parents telling me that I'm irresponsible, and well, rightly so. Like one day I went to a bank to open a bank account and for some reason I had to bring my passport with me. And I actually left my passport at the bank. Came home and did not even realize for days that it is missing. And the bank called and they told me they had found the passport. That was a pretty embarrassing day. I was always numbing myself with other activities such as watching Netflix shows or playing video games. Bad habits always cluster together. Like if you want instant gratification in one domain of your life, then you very likely want instant gratification in other aspects of your life. In short, I was an ambitionless, depressed loser. Now at some point of time, I kind of realized that what I was eating was turning me into a brain-dead zombie. I made 1,000 attempts to quit eating garbage food, but at that point I was just too addicted. Like I would go for 3 or 4 days, then get stressed by life or get bored or get hit with intense cravings. Every day was just this tug of war between the thinking regions of my brain and the dopamine addicted regions of my brain. I was just using raw motivation to try and quit these activities that give instant gratification. And motivation is a limited resource. It is absolutely bound to run out. So I kept relapsing, and as soon as I relapsed, I used to binge eat, which made the addiction even worse. Like this was a vicious cycle. So I remember this one particular day after a brutal relapse, I was just sitting at the edge of my bed. It was night, tears in my eyes, tired of failing over and over again, and I said, Ya Allah, help me. I don't know how to escape the hell that I'm in. I'm lost, I'm tired, help me. That was perhaps one of the most darkest days of my life. This is when I actually started fasting. I had intuitively known that fasting would help me because I had observed almost every religion out there had a component of fasting in it, and it was tied to being more mindful and spiritual. Like Islam has it, Christianity has it, Judaism has it, Hinduism has it. Like it can't all be just a coincidence that cultures and religions that are vastly different from one another have one thing in common. The next day I googled the terms fasting and instant gratification or something along those lines, and I came across the video of this man recommending fasting to break all sorts of addictions. He actually recommended that you fast for something like 48 hours to break an addiction. Now keep in mind I had only fasted in Ramadan. The fast was just 14 or 15 hours. This was 4 times longer. Like 48 hours was no joke, but I was just in such a horrible situation. Like I was truly desperate, so I gave it a shot. Now at this point, I didn't know much about preparing for long fasts or ketosis or anything like that. I was just a guy who was sick of his life. The fast was an absolute nightmare. The first 24 hours were somewhat okay, but after that I began to feel absolutely horrible. Like I felt jittery and I kept waking up in the middle of the night because I was so damn hungry. However, my why was so big that I was just willing to go through all that suffering. Because this fast represented my ticket out of hell. This fast represented my ticket out of my current life. He who has a why can bear anyhow. Sure, you must have heard of it. But I had one profound insight during the fast. I realized that while I was fasting, even though I felt hungry, I did not crave junk food. I instead craved things like potatoes, rice, or fruits. It's as though my emotional attachment to unnatural factory-produced garbage had finally been broken, and my body and mind just got like a big factory reset. Like when I finally broke my fast, there was so much that I wanted to eat, but I just could not. It's as though my stomach had shrunk. After eating the meal, I had to rush to the toilet and I had a massive dump. It was disgusting and watery. Even though I had not eaten anything for the past 2 days, I still had a massive dump. That was confusing to me. But I later got to know it's because my digestive system finally got to address all the toxic decaying matter that was inside me all this while. Like think about it. Ever since you were born, your digestive system is just working, consuming. It never really gets a break to address other problems in your body. After that massive dump, I started to feel light and just happy and amazing. Not just the way you feel after a massive poop. I know that feels good too. But this was way better. Much better. I was just happy, excited about life, motivated. It felt like I was kind of floating. At this point, I was 100% convinced that fasting increases your willpower. After you have said no to something as essential as food, your ability to reject instant gratification really goes up. And this isn't some bro science. Like you can watch Andrew Huberman talk about this particular region of the brain that is responsible for willpower generation. And the more you do activities that you don't really want to do, or resist activities that you really want to do, the larger this area gets. And I feel that there is nothing better than fasting at growing this region of the brain and eventually developing up your willpower. Ever since that day, some sort of fasting has always been a part of my life. After that 2-day fast, I did about 30 days of eating just one meal a day. I really wanted to make sure that I develop my willpower and just completely detox my body and never ever go back to that hell that I just crawled away from. For those of you who are new here, my name is Jibreal Khan. I help men become the most productive versions of themselves and get rid of all their addictions to instant gratification. If you would like to have a one-on-one meeting with me, then check out the link in the description. My willpower became rock solid and the brain fog finally disappeared. Like for the first time in my life, I could think clearly and I was no longer this confused, absent-minded zombie. I was sharp and people actually took notice of that. My grades improved, the way I spoke improved, I was quick on my feet, I was witty, I was communicating well, I wasn't forgetting things. I was no longer addicted to garbage food, no more cravings, no more playing video games, no more binge watching Netflix shows, and my sleep schedule became pretty good. It's as though I became a completely different man. The truth is that in the 21st century, you have the ability to destroy yourself. You have instant gratification at your fingertips at all times. Your greatest nemesis is no longer some evil, tyrannical dictator. It's rather the food that you eat and the content that you watch. Check out this video if you want to rid your mind of all these forms of cheap pleasures and to actually start living life.